What's going on, everybody? Doc, Average Gamer Guys, back yet again. More Escape from Tarkov action and a little bit of Tarkytown news for you today. Just covering some of the recent updates that we got and some news and some changes. I think a lot of good stuff to cover in this video. So we're going to jump right in. We're going to be talking about a couple of things. We're going to be talking about some loot changes. We're going to be talking about an interesting adjustment to the flea market. And we'll spend a little bit of time talking about those things, as well as I think a couple of speculation items. So without further ado, let's jump in. Let's do some news. All right. Hey, everybody. Future Doc here, jumping in really quick at the beginning of this video. One thing to cover up front, Kappa, now level 62. So that is a huge quality of life change for anybody out there trying to grind that. I figured I would cover this up front, and I didn't cover it in the video. That's big. That's really big. With that, back to your scheduled programming. Enjoy the vid. All right, so first things first here, I want to talk about I'm going to call it the quote-unquote the event that we got started a couple of days ago by the time this goes up, probably going up Monday or Tuesday. And it's basically just on the Battlestate Games Twitter. I really recommend up front, if you are not already like following them, if you don't have a Twitter, it's great. Stay tuned to the news. Hopefully this is helpful for you watching. But if not, or if you do have one, I really recommend giving them a follow because they post a ton of stuff. They post, little weapon leaks, just the different things that they're working on. Kind of all their spoilers come from that, in addition to all of like their events type stuff, which is exactly where we're pulling this from. So really quickly, if you haven't seen it, it says, to the goons, looks like the hosts of local market trying to expand. Better look closely in your area of operations. They began to attract a wider range of clients. Expect interesting results. By the way, how the weather on the beach. Now, a couple of things. If you are playing, and I'm not sure, there's a lot of speculation on this, is if this is like a short-term weekend thing, or like kind of like they've been doing, Monday, Tuesday, they turn it off for these events, or if this is like a longer term adjustment for the rest of the wipe. Basically what this did is it adjusted the flea market down to level 15 from level 20. So if you're just like been really slow playing the wipe, or maybe you're just getting into it, this is really fantastic for you. Broader selection of people being able to get in. You'll be able to do some hideout upgrades and some progress if you want to do that. I'm actually really looking forward to this. I'm going to be doing some of the Escape series, and I think this is really significantly going to help me with some items and some expansion, especially from a hideout upgrade perspective. So level 15 now. Again, a lot of speculation on if this is going to last only for this weekend and a couple of days, or if it's basically going to be the remainder of the wipe. My personal thoughts is it probably stays. Here's the reason I think that. I think it's a test. I think it's a test to see how, if they shrink it down, if they open it up and they make the flea market a little bit more accessible, 5 less levels, they'll be able to get some good data on how it will affect basically the progression of that section of the player base. My thoughts is that it may not run completely for the rest of the wipe, and I could be totally wrong, that it could just be the weekend. My thoughts is probably more of a permanent change, at least for this wipe, just to tailor it and see if that adjustment makes sense. And maybe this is a test for next wipe or future wipes where they do this again and they just let players kind of slowly get into the flea market, where it's really not going to cause a whole lot of trouble and actually open up a bigger portion of the player base that may have not been super interested in playing up until this point. I know that like Sloth hasn't really played much this wipe. Level 15 is certainly feels a lot more easily achievable than level 20 does, and having access to the flea market, as long as you can make some money, is a great way to bring some players in. So we shall see. I think it's going to stay. That's just my personal opinion. But yeah, we'll see. It also talks about the weather on the beach, and there's a lot of discussion and kind of speculation about like Shoreline getting a loot boost and some other things going on. I think that is purely a reference to Lighthouse as just like a little bit of a tease, and hopefully it's coming soon. I personally think that's what it is. I also think it's, again, kind of teasing that whole in-game trader thing that they said is going to be there when Lighthouse releases. So hopefully that's a little bit of a tease. But if you've seen anything over the last couple of days specific to Shoreline, which really is the only map at this point, I guess Woods technically has like the lake, a little bit of a beach on it. Let us know in the comments. Drop something down below. But right now, I think that's just a just a little bit of a tease. And I think this may be referencing like the goons. I think this may be referencing that in-game trader on Lighthouse, and it's trade related, so it kind of makes sense in my mind. I don't know. Let me know if I'm crazy down in the comments below, but hopefully it makes some sense. But that's what I want to cover this. So cool, potentially weekend event and level 15 flea market. Get out there, grab some stuff you need if you were level 15 or above at this point. All right, and really the last thing that I want to spend a little bit of time talking about is actually the loot changes. So there was a dynamic loot buff, a couple of things, 27%, I'll say, increase. I think that was to the global spawn rate of loot. In addition, though, it seems like a lot of locations have gotten additional loot location spots for things to be able to spawn in. I know there's been a lot of coverage on labs because that was pretty desolate up until this loot kind of buff and change. I'm going to be testing some of this and going into some of these maps, but I think generally from what I've heard from the Reddits and seen from the community that this has been a really positive change. I said this, if you took a chance to watch my dynamic loot discussion video, that this is the kind of change that we needed. I don't necessarily think that we needed to know exactly where every specific location is, but I think what this has done is it's helped players to understand, and they have increased the locations that loot can spawn. That is a really smart change to me. Lab specifically has gotten a ton of additional spots for, you know, rare items and tech items and things like that that are, you know, beneficial for going into that map. And it's not that, you know, a certain one specific item can spawn there. It obviously has a pool of loot, so those, you know, types of items can spawn in those locations. But now we have more spawn locations for that stuff to be available in, and more, basically more places to check. That's been my complaint with the dynamic loot changes. I'm fine with, you know, the loot being a little bit more random, or in this case, a lot more random. It just seems like we didn't get an associated change in actual locations, which it seems like this patch and kind of update did. So I look for continued refined tweaks. I think this is going to be really good. Hopefully at some point I've thrown in some video of doing some labs runs and maybe a couple other locations where we can find some things, but I haven't had a chance to test it out yet, so I'll be doing after this video. However, I fully believe everybody in the comments and Reddit and all the community saying that this has been a really good change, and they've seen a really positive change just with loot in general across the board. So let me know your thoughts on that below. If you've been playing, if you've been having a lot more success. I know personally, like, labs was really dead. Really, I think up until this change, so I'm going to be curious to see how that changes. And other maps as well. I think Shoreline's going to get a little bit more popular. And this is, again, what I was really hoping for with this adjustment, is just let us know where, in what types of locations the loot can spawn on chairs, you know, obviously on the ground, but in specific locations that are identifiable, and then let us go search from there, which I think is a big part of what they were able to do with this adjustment. So hopefully community feedback well received, hopefully a good adjustment across the board for BSG, and you know, can't be too sad about that. And again, I know there's going to be continued tweaks, so look forward to seeing what else they're going to be able to do. So quick short video, that's what I had to cover today. Hopefully you've been really enjoying the Escape from Tarkov content. Thank you so much for all the support on the channel. Got a lot of series running, having a great time with hardcore. Our Escape series hopefully should pick up here, and we've been having some good progress in that. And then again, we got a couple other, starting to get into our challenge series and a couple other things that hopefully we'll find helpful for, you know, newer or maybe players that haven't played a ton this wipe. We're doing a loot hunt series actually, so this boost should be a nice addition to that. And yeah, stay tuned to the channel for some more EFT content as well as some other games. I'm gonna put the plug in, like, comment, subscribe. Again, thank you seriously so much for the support. So if you clicked on the video and watched to this point, you're the MVP. Seriously, thank you. We appreciate it. I appreciate it. It just helps the channel grow. If you want to subscribe, that'd be great too. That is huge for us, and your continued support watching the videos is awesome. In addition, we do stream over on Twitch. Link in the description. Fridays and Saturdays, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Then randomly throughout the week, usually in the evenings, we have our Discord and our Twitter down below. So you can give us a follow over on those things. That'd be cool too. We'd love to chat with you in the comments. Maybe run some raids, do some challenges, whatever. over there sometime on one of these weekends. So with that, Doc, Average Gamer guys, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next Escape from Tarkov video. Peace!